screen at me. Got it.
Okay.
Great job.
We got it. Okay. Team effort here. Okay, well, we're going to get started. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here on the call. We have several people who are going to watch the replay. And just wanted to thank you for showing up. This is going to be a very quick, fast-paced, informational call. We're going to have about 30 minutes of info and then a 15-minute Q&A. So if you have any questions and if you're able to, go ahead and type those into the chat. Otherwise, you can come off mute at the end of the call and ask any questions that you would like. So we are here today to learn about a very exciting emerging franchise called NutritionHQ. And we've got the founder here, ရိcky Hall, who you're going to hear from in just a few minutes. So technically, this is considered a micro emerging brand, which means that it has a lot of success, a lot of great potential, and it has under 10 locations, which makes it an excellent opportunity to get in on the ground level as a franchise owner or investor. So a little bit about me. My name is Tracy Davison. I'm zooming in here from Nashville, Tennessee. I am a franchise owner in a different industry for business owners. And I've been a business coach and leadership trainer here for a number of years. Before that, I was a school superintendent, principal, and Spanish teacher. So, hey, we all change what we're doing along the way, and that is the entrepreneurial way. So my job today is to ask questions from the consumer perspective. So whether you are someone who is looking to purchase a franchise for the first time or expand on your existing franchise portfolio as an investor, or if you're a franchise consultant, we welcome you. And we thank those who helped us fill this event with over 100 registrants. So if you will, and if you can, go ahead and type in the chat, what brought you here today? Are you looking for information? Are you an investor? You know, what caught your eye about this opportunity? And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my dear friend and this extraordinary entrepreneur, ရိcky Hall, founder and CEO of the NutritionHQ franchise. So welcome, Риcky. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. And
Absolutely.
go ahead.
Thank you, Tracy.
Tell us about. You're welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how NutritionHQ came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Northeast Missouri on a farm, graduated high school, went straight into the military, did 6 years in the Air Force. I actually turned 18 in basic training. So always active in sports, always loved just lifting weights and being in the gym. And as I got in the military, I got into it even more. And then when I exited the military, that was the vision I had. I knew I was going to do something with health and wellness. Actually, I thought I'd be a gym owner more than anything else. And then I'm living out in New Jersey, working at a gym, working a construction job, and I catch myself, I'm in a GNC 2 or 3 hours every time I go in there training the staff on supplements. So at that point, I'm like, you know what? I need to jump the other side of the counter. So I franchised my first GNC in February of 2000. So this February, I'm 23 years in the business. So that's kind of what got me there. And then I did that for 10 years. I had 5 GNCs, 4 in the St. Louis metro area, and then partners with 1 in Arizona. And I exited in 2010 and went to another franchise concept for about 3 years and then broke away because I didn't feel like I was able to give the customers what they wanted, but with either one of the franchises. And I knew I wanted to have an impact on their experience coming into the store versus selling them something they didn't really want just because, you were forced by corporate per their guidelines, their KPIs. KPIs are important. You just got to know what KPI you're looking at. So that's how NutritionHQ was born. So we put a lot of work into figuring out a name and we came up with NutritionHQ. I wanted something that said, we're going to be big. Like, this is going to be big. We can take this globally. And it didn't say like Vitamin HQ or anything like that. I wanted to say all things nutrition, health, and wellness. And so we founded in 2015 and then started franchising in 2020. And now I have 2 franchisees and that's where we are today. And we're going to award 3 this year. And if it's flowing smoothly, maybe 1 or 2 more, but 3 is my number right now.
That's awesome. I love how you kind of highlighted the word award because, a franchise is a business in a box, if you will, but it is awarded to the right person. And that's important to kind of note. So thank you. Ricky, what are some of the products and services that Nutrition HQ provides for customers?
Yeah, we provide anything from, your A to Z multivitamins, your herbs. We do grab and go meals, energy drinks, protein bars. As you can see in the picture, we sell shaker bottles. And then over towards the right there, you can see a machine that's called an InBody machine, where we can scan and know in 15 seconds, how much weight, how much you weigh, your hydration levels, your body fat, your muscle mass. And then we can use that to do more of a consultation to literally see what's going on with the person and basically dial in and provide a better service than any of our competitors.
Fantastic. I absolutely love that. So you mentioned that you have 2 locations. Can you tell us where those locations are located? And then if you could move into, as an emerging franchisor, your next milestone is to award your first 10 franchises to the right franchisees. So just like in any successful company, it's critical to select the right A team, because your first 10 franchisees, that's who your next 100 are going to be looking to as a model of, how do I do this, right? So what does an ideal NHQ franchisee look like for you?
One of my favorite calls I had with a young lady, and she'll do a store one day, and I was like, why do you want to own a Nutrition HQ? She goes, I want to help people. And I'm like, yes, that's what we're doing. We're in the business of helping the people. It may not be weight loss. It may be a sore knee. It may be migraines, and that's kind of what we do. And then we can get into the nutrition part of it, but they're usually pretty passionate about health and wellness and fitness, and probably have a little bit of a background in the area. They may be a personal trainer now or a life coach, but those are the kind of the people we find. And it's a competitive environment, and that's just kind of how we're wired as the team that I've got right now.
Awesome. And your 2 locations are in Indiana and Illinois, is that right?
That is correct. Quincy, Illinois, and basically South Bend, Indiana, which is the store's in Mishawaka, but it's basically South Bend, Indiana, where Notre Dame is.
Awesome. Awesome. So I've got 5 rapid fire questions about some of the key items in your FDD. And if you're new to franchising, an FDD stands for a franchise disclosure document. Franchises are regulated by the Federal Trade Commission, and the FDD is the legal operating agreement that goes along with any franchise. So your item 7 talks about, and item 7 in any FDD, for those of you who are new, talks about, what is the investment range that you can expect to spend when you're opening a franchise. So what is that range for Nutrition HQ?
Yep, the bottom is at 172,500 and the top is 240,500. And the variation in that can be, the main variation that throws that off is leasehold improvements. Building out in St. Louis, Missouri will be more expensive than building out in, say, Quincy, Illinois. And that's why the variation. But anybody that knows me, I always try to keep that number to the lower part, because I want the franchisee to get profitable as soon as possible and start making money and getting their ROI.
Absolutely. Yes. So can you talk a little bit more about what that range includes?
Yep, absolutely. So that's going to be your initial franchise fee. That's going to be your inventory. It's going to be equipment such as the InBody machine, a computer for your POS system, all your fixtures, leasehold improvements, deposits, security deposits, a little bit of that. And I've also built in, I think, 25 to 35,000 of like 3 months worth of expenses, just to plan ahead. So there's some cushion built in that 172.
Fantastic. And so item 5 is the franchise fee. What is your franchise fee?
Yeah, my initial franchise fee is $40,000, and that's a one-time fee, and that pays for your franchise agreement over the next 10 years. I do have a 10-year franchise agreement.
Awesome. Cool. Let's talk about royalties. Item 6. So you have a unique model for your royalties that I love. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think we all talk about when somebody's working really hard, how come they're not getting more reward for their benefit, their work. And so what I did was I put a tiered royalty program in to where you're 6% of all sales until you hit $1 million in sales, and then it drops to 5%. And then after $1.5 million, it drops to 4%. And then it resets every year, every calendar year, January 1, it resets. But I just wanted to award them to make them more profitable as they are more successful.
Awesome. I love that. And because I know franchise fees can range anywhere from like 5 to 15%. I'm a
Yes.
franchisee. You've been a franchisee. You know how hard that hits when it's a bigger number. So I think that's really cool. What do you offer discounts to any prospective franchisees?
We do a military and a hero discount of 20% off the initial franchise fee.
Wow, that's I think the biggest discount I've heard of. That's really good. Awesome, thank you. Let's talk about a day in the life of a new franchise owner so that people here can get a picture in their mind about what it's like to, run a store. So I'll let you just go ahead.
No, absolutely. And both my guys operate their stores completely different. My one owner is 100% owner operator. The other one is semi-absentee. So he actually owns a couple of gym franchises at the same time. But we're basically 7 days a week. We always say we were 362 business days a year. We close for Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving. So it is retail. We are brick and mortar. Most stores open up at 9 and close at 8, and then they'll have weekend hours that vary. Like I think our weekend hours at both stores are 11 to 6 on Sundays, which is interesting because Sundays have become hour by hour our most profitable day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like when I talk with people who are thinking about buying a franchise, one of the things they want to know is how will I find my customers? So how does that work with NutritionHQ?
Yeah, if you look at any of our marketing, we're all about being part of the community. So finding customers, we do some strategic radio. We don't spend a lot, but we have some strategic radio. Very big on social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook is really powerful for us. We do athlete ambassador programs where we have people that rep the brand and get out. We do booths. We partner with gyms, chiropractors, doctors. We've got doctors that send patients in for facial or for eye health. So thinking everywhere health and wellness is that you can spread the word. I mean, we sponsor golf tournaments and things like that. So it's a lot of guerrilla marketing, but it's literally owning your community and being in that community. And that's having an impact on the community drives. We call it door swings. How many door swings can we get a day? And our philosophy is the guy coming in to buy a protein bar should get the same love as the other person coming in buying a big tub of protein. So, because we're making the door swing.
That's awesome. So can you kind of give us some bullet points like, okay, I'm a new franchisee. I'm opening the door for the day. What's my day like?
Yep. A lot of times the stores will set themselves up the night before during the closing process to when you walk in at 15 minutes to opening, you flip the lights on, fire up the POS system, count the drawer, and you're off and ready for customers. And at that point, then you usually will have orders coming in throughout the day because we order from probably 30 to 50 different vendors. So you literally have orders hitting every day. So you're checking inventory in, you're taking care of customers, answering the phone, because we do a lot of phone orders, to be honest. And then each franchisee will also be awarded their own e-com site that mimics their inventory. So they may be sending out some e-com orders at the same time, but it's basically from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. You're literally servicing the customer and stocking the shelves and keeping everything fresh.
Sounds like the day flies by.
It can be pretty busy, especially when you see 100 people come through the door a day.
That's awesome. So let's talk about location for a second. We know you have 2 locations. What is the typical location size and what type of location are we looking at? Like strip malls or?
Yes, strip malls are the best. We always want to say easy in and easy out. That person getting off from work wants to run in and grab, their energy drink and a snack because they got to go pick up Jimmy to go to the next football game. So we want easy in, easy out. I love 1,200 to 1,500 square feet in a strip center with a grocery store in that same strip center. Not your high-end grocery store, but not your low-end, just that medium where most of the people in that community are shopping to get their groceries. And I love a UPS store in our strip center as well because we ship so many packages. It's just another you kind of lose a mini anchor that pulls for us.
Wow, that makes good sense. Do you help the franchisees locate the best location to make sure it's going to be profitable? How does that look?
Yes, that's one of my favorite things to do. I love going into the markets and finding the spot. And then we use a company called 𝒓𝒨𝗰𝗍 that will take our database and then find our lookalike customers in that market.
Awesome. Is there an opportunity to buy multi-units with NutritionHQ?
There is, and I have an unwritten rule though that I won't let a franchisee expand until they've proven themselves that they're doing a rolling 12 months of $750,000 a year. You know, and that's I want them to prove themselves before they start stretching themselves thin.
Yeah, that's great coaching. I love that. So, what is the average sale for someone who shops at a store, an HQ store?
Yeah, our average customer spends about $55 to $60 each trip. And we're seeing these customers 9 to 10 times a year, if not more.
It's awesome. Cool. So with franchises, one of the main reasons that people buy a franchise is you get a brand you can trust, a system you can follow, and training support so you don't fail. Some franchisors are really good about all that stuff and others are not. I know you are awesome about it. I love that you're a veteran because you get that. Like your whole career has been based on training and support. And you have developed a very successful and strong training and support process that is working beautifully for your owners of your current locations. Can you share about your onboarding, training, and continued support for new franchisees?
Yes, and you touched on your first 10. The first 10 are probably going to get more support and more training than any other franchisee coming into the system because we have more time. And how we have our training program set out is basically you'll spend 5 to 7 days with us at one of our stores, more than likely in Quincy with my son. My son is one of my franchisees, and he's really good at taking everything that I've done over the years, and basically he's very analytical, and he's a great trainer, and he's there from you just walking you through everything. And then he's also got a staff that's really good at training. And the training will consist of store operations, back office, marketing in the market, ordering, all that stuff. And then when you open your store, I personally will be in your market at least a week, if not 2 weeks. I have changed my whole lifestyle that if I have to be in XYZ town for an opening and I have to be there for a month to really get it going, I'm there. I can make that commitment.
Yes, I know you can. We just had a funny conversation. Ricky just got back from this high level retreat. And what were you doing like 2 hours after you got back home?
I landed in St. Louis at 7 o'clock on a Friday night. My mom lives 2.5 hours away. The next morning I get up, I drive to my mom's, and at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm on the roof fixing a water leak.
Yeah, so you are there for people. I have a question in the chat here from Belle White. Loving this. Who are the people that make amazing franchisees? Personality traits, skills? Do I need to have a ton of business experience?
No, not really, because I can teach a lot of it's the passion. Do you have the passion to be in business and work for yourself? Do you have a passion to take care of customers coming through the door? The business side is another side that I love. And Jeremy, my second franchisee, had no business experience at all. And I've taught him everything through that, with using my bookkeeper, coaching him through P&Ls and balance sheets, and then me teaching inventory management and all that stuff. But no, absolutely not. Sometimes it's better if you don't have business experience.
Yeah, then you get right. Then you're not breaking habits that aren't the best habits. Awesome. So let's see. So Discovery Day, let's talk about that for a second. That is where people can come in and meet you, see the business in action, ask any questions, get to know each other. Do you have a Discovery Day offer?
We do, and I love it. Anybody that's want to work with me, and you know this, Tracy, is like, if you want to work with us, you have to come visit the store. You have to see what we're doing. And I've had different people ask what we're doing. It's like, just fly into St. Louis. Let's go. I want you to come see the store, because I can tell you all day long, you need to see it. So our Discovery Day is coming in and seeing the people in action, meeting the teams, basically, seeing what the culture is like, see if we're a fit. Then we'll do lunch. Myself and my son will go off site and we'll do lunch, and we'll talk a little bit there. We may go get a workout in, so that way you can see what it's like being in the community at the gym. And seeing, like, we have t-shirts. The towns are covered with our NutritionHQ t-shirts. It's hilarious. So we'll do that. And then we usually wrap the evening up with a dinner and just kind of say, hey, is this a fit? Because remember, this is the thing is, I'm vetting a franchisee as much as a franchisee or prospect should be vetting me. We're vetting each other because we're getting into a relationship for the next 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another comment in the chat here. Deb Gould says the ability to follow a system is huge for a franchisee.
It is. And so there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Are there going to be great ideas? Yes, absolutely. Especially with us being a micro emerging brand, there's going to be some things like, hey, we should have put that in the operations manual, but the systems and the processes are already there, and following them is basically, that's giving you, what is it? A jump ahead of somebody, say, starting a mom and pop store. We've made the mistakes. We've paid the stupid tax to get you to be more successful quickly.
Hate the stupid tax. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really good. So we're getting close to the end of our 30 minutes. We are a little bit ahead of schedule. I do have some people that DM'd me directly. Is there anything else you would like to add before we move on to those other questions, Ricky?
No, back to, I just want to validate what you were saying. Our first 10 franchisees are our most important. And you said this, I got my first 2 right. Thank God. One was my son. So hopefully I got that one right. But the first 10 are going to award the next 90.
Yeah, that's right. It's so true. There are so many questions that you need to ask when you're buying a franchise. And I just think you have got it dialed in here, and having been on both sides of the fence as a franchisee, you got to see like what works, what doesn't, what you like, what you didn't like.
And I like to, and Tracy, I like to say, I've been there on the 5th of the month it's still a Friday, and payroll's hitting and rent's hitting and royalties are hitting. I've been there when that's happened. And that's something we do. Instead of pulling royalties once a month, we pull it every Wednesday. That way it's easier for you to manage your cash flow.
Oh, wow. And set those weekly goals too. I have a question that wasn't really on the list here, but I'm curious, how do you support your current franchisees on a day-to-day basis? Because I know you've got a cool system.
Yeah, so actually this day-to-day we use text messages, obviously, but then I also use an app that I learned from one of my vendors called 𝒓𝒂𝒅𝒚. And you can literally, it's a walkie-talkie, and literally yesterday I was sitting at my desk and 𝒓𝒂𝒅𝒚 went off, and Tyler had just stumbled onto a vendor that had a really good deal where they were giving away a Yeti cooler. So he's on the 𝒓𝒂𝒅𝒚 letting us know about it. And you'll be in that 𝒓𝒂𝒅𝒚 group because we want to collaborate this together. All boats rise with the tide. And then we do that, we have that. And then every Monday, I also send an email of the sales numbers and the projections. And then I also send a customer tip of the week out of a book called Amaze Every Customer Every Time. And then once a month, we do a monthly huddle that's on a Zoom. So this morning, when you and I were going back and forth polishing this up, I literally was on my monthly huddle with Tyler and Jeremy. And as soon as a franchisee signs a franchise agreement, they will become part of that group. We want them on those huddles. I don't care if their store's not opening for 6 months. We want them understanding how to build this thing.
Yeah, that's so good. The support is such an important piece, and I love your model.
And I've been there where you didn't get the support from a franchisor, and that hurts when you're sending them royalties and you're not getting support. And then they're telling you you're doing everything wrong. And I'm like, no, I'm fixing your stores.
Yes, I totally understand and can relate. So I've seen that too. So here are a couple questions in the chat here. One is, do the store owners buy their inventory from you, or where does it come from?
Yep, like I said, we have about 30 to 50 vendors we work with, and we do have a private label in-house brand called 𝒓𝒏𝒆𝒓𝒈𝒐𝒓𝒏𝒔𝒑𝒊𝒛𝒆𝒅, and that you do buy from me. And I actually have to disclose that in the FDD, so you'll be able to see those numbers. It's not shoved down your throat. My belief is if I build a good product, you're going to buy it just as much as you're going to buy one of our top vendors. So yeah, and we will show you that whole process and building those relationships with the vendors. And we are very big about taking care of our vendors as much as they are taking care of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you any supply chain issues?
Not too much, because we have the ability to order any day of the week, so if there is some supply chain issues, maybe in a day or two, vitamin A is back in stock. So then you can go ahead and reorder that. And the vendors have been really good about adjusting their minimums for free shipping because of supply chain issues. But we worked around it enough to where, it didn't have a negative impact on the business last year.
Love it. Here's one. How long does it typically take to get a store open?
I would say 90 days to 180. You know, I want us open within 180 days. And I had a call the other day. As soon as you sign that franchise agreement and pay your initial franchise fee, we got to get the clock rolling. You know, how quickly can we get this thing open? And I've opened, if I get a certificate of occupancy at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, we will be open at 9 a.m. the next morning, stocked, locked, and loaded.
That's awesome. So you kind of triggered the next question here with, once the FDD is signed, can you just kind of walk through, like, let's say for someone who's on this call or watching the replay and they're like, I like what I'm seeing, I like what I'm hearing, I think this could work in my community. What are the next steps?
Yep. Once that franchise agreement is signed and you paid your initial franchise fee, like I said, you'll become part of our group with our huddles and all that stuff. But we are literally now on the streets looking for the location to get it open. And hopefully before you sign that franchise agreement, we've already kind of zeroed in and we know some of the numbers, but then we're going into lease negotiations. And I'm right there with you during that whole process, getting this thing negotiated right. Let's get some tenant improvement money to bring down your leasehold improvements. And that's kind of where I really love working that side of it too, to help you get into the right lease. I've had leases turn me upside down, and I don't want that for my franchisees.
Yeah.
And then once that's done, once we secure a lease, now we send the dimensions off to our designer, and now they're milling the shelving and the fixtures to get that thing cruising. And it's about a 4 to 6 week turnaround on the shelving.
Wow. Very good. Cool. So would you say anything else to the people that are on this call or watching the replay? Like, what is there a next baby step that they could take to kind of move one little baby step forward?
Yeah, I mean, schedule a call with me. If you want to go one-on-one, schedule a call. Tracy's supplied you guys with all my point of contact information. I do this. I love what I do. I love being on the phone. If I'm talking NutritionHQ and fitness and health and wellness and business, I'm loving life. Yeah. And you know what, Tracy, and maybe my franchise is not for you. I actually coached another guy through buying a martial arts franchise, because my franchise wasn't for him, but this other one was. That's
the way it should be. You know, I mean, it's tough when you meet a franchisor where you just got the little dollar sign spinning in the eyeballs, and it's like, do what is right for people, and it all works out. That's another thing I love about you, Ricky.
Don't just take the check. Don't just take the check. Make it fit for both of you.
Everyone loses in the end that way. That's right. I put your calendar in the link here, and if it's okay with you, I would also love to put your other link here of your story. Like,
oh, yeah, okay, yeah, absolutely. I would love to share that.
Yeah. So, okay, I think we're just about ready to come off mute here. If anybody has any questions, I definitely want to hear from people where you're at, what you're thinking, what you're doing, any questions you've got. And I know, Ricky, you want to hear the same thing. So, any last thoughts before we open up for Q&A?
No, I'm good. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So we got some thank yous in the chat. So, all right, I'm going to just make this screen bigger here. Yeah, if you've got questions, you can either go to reactions and raise your hand, or just come off mute and ask your question, or tell us where you're zooming in from. What's going on with you all? We do have one guest here who I'm sure will have some things to say, Dr. Robert Needham, who is kind of the godfather of franchising. He started the first franchise consultancy back in the 80s in the US. So I would love to hear from you, Dr. Needham, if you're able to share your thoughts with us.
Well, hey, Ricky, it's good to see you again. We had a great time there in Dallas when we both were speaking at that VBOC convention. So it's good to see you again. You know, I had a chance to meet Ricky and get to know him as a person. If you really are interested in owning a nutrition business, I can't think of a better person for you to talk to. He's not only a business person, but he loves this business. You probably picked that out, but I mean, he really loves the whole idea of nutrition, fitness, and all that goes with that. So congratulations. It's been a great presentation. We look forward to supporting you in every way we can, but really good to see you again.
Yep. Thanks, Dr. Needham. And, on top of that, anybody that comes in for Discovery Day, please go visit any of your competitors or who you think will be your competitor, because I want you to see that we are doing it different.
Yeah, for
Thanks,
sure.
Dr.
Awesome. It looks like Belle came off mute. I think she might have something to say.
Hey, Belle, long time no see.
Long time no see. This was awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. I know Ricky well, and I know NutritionHQ well, but I always love hearing about all you know about this industry and about just your business and how passionate you are. It's always so awesome to hear. I'm really curious. I want to go back to kind of the people that you're looking for that are going to be those awesome partners. And I loved what you said, like, it's really all about that passion over, a lot of other things. What are some of the things, though, that you kind of look for, like, just in terms of background? I just know some people, when they hear about these kinds of opportunities, they get excited and they're just not sure if they're the right fit. And maybe even just what you do to figure out, if you're going to be a really, really solid fit for this. And I love the passion comment, but anything else, if someone's maybe thinking about it, thinking about their experience and whether it would be a good fit for them, what are some of the things you guys kind of walk them through in that process of figuring out if this is going to be the business for them?
Yeah, a lot of them, Bill, you can hear it in their voice. You can hear the passion in their voice, and they're authentic about wanting to be in the health and wellness industry. We are in the business of helping people. That is the number one priority. And one of my favorite things that was ever said to me in my store was, I had a couple guys in for Discovery Day, and the one guy knows me extremely well, and he was watching Tyler work, and he's like, why he's successful? And I was like, why? He goes, because he cares about the people. It's not the money. And if you're greedy, you're not my franchisee. You got to be there for your customer first and for your community first. Everything else will follow after that. And I've had calls with the people like, I would never, I don't care how much you can pull up to my house with a dump truck full of money. I would never award you my brand, because you can see through it. And then that's another reason why I like to take them to dinner. Let's see how they are interacting with the staff and things like that, And then Tyler, thank goodness, my son, he's just got a great pulse for it. And we all vet them, we all talk to everybody, and everybody's got to check the boxes. Like, yeah, we always say gets it, she gets it, he gets it. And that's it. And that's kind of how it is, a lot of the gut. Does that make sense?
It totally does. And I loved how that also connects back to the, if someone is thinking about investing and joining this brand and bringing this into their community, it's also about deciding, them vetting you as well, and them deciding, is this going to be a partnership I'm going to thrive in and I'm going to really enjoy and want. And it's exactly what you're saying. It's like the passion needs to be on both sides. I love that so much. Yeah, this was awesome. Really, really enjoyed.
Okay. Thanks, Val.
Fantastic. Would love to hear where you guys are all coming in from, and just what your thoughts are and what you think your next steps might be. And if we don't have any other questions, we can wrap it up here, Ricky, unless you've got some last minute thoughts. Oh, it looks like Julie's going to say something.
Hello. I just wanted to say thank you so much. This was great and very informative. As you asked what we're here for, and I said in the chat that it's all of the above. We're consultants, we're looking at franchises, and there's always investment opportunity as well. Now, I am originally from Canada. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina right now, but originally from Canada. So my question is, when, if ever, are you thinking of crossing the border?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I landed at the retreat on Monday, and I had got an email about a location outside of Toronto. And I said, I don't know if I'm ready, but let's start the discussion. I think, Julie, it goes, if it's the right person, is what would make me jump the border. It's got to be the right person, because it's going to be a whole different learning curve for me. So I've got to do it. However, a lot of my partners that I work with now are Canadian. So I do have a little bit of a head start in that area, so they can help me through that.
Awesome. That was about it. Just thank you again. The information was great, and we will be connecting soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Skip.
Great to see you again, Ricky.
Yep, thanks.
Awesome. Cool. Jaden, Sal, Dereje, S. Dr. Needham, any last thoughts? All right. Cool. Well, I guess we can wrap this call up then, Ricky, and send the replay on to everyone and let everyone get on with their day.
Yeah, no, and what it's also saying, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to schedule a call. Let's chat.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, Ricky, I'll let you end it and we'll touch base shortly.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your time and go have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you. See ya.